Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are listening from. Welcome to That Mill podcast. We're into the 1 week build up before the first game of the season when we all travel to the Riverside, Middlesbrough on Saturday. Look forward to the long drive up there. Joining myself, Omer, I have my partner in crime, as he likes to refer to me as, Micky Simpson. Hello, guys.
Easy case, 5 more sleeps.
5 more sleeps.
That's it, mate. And I'll tell you though, it's sort of been a long time coming, but then not long enough, and it seems to have gone. I mean, maybe some of you are watching the Women's World Cup. Not really for me, but no, not mine either. I just the reason I'm not watching the women, I think there's loads of hypocrisy around it. I think all these companies what have got involved in sponsorship now and all this lot because there's a big event and they can gain, advertising, benefits through pretending that they're all into the Women's World Cup or the women's game when where have they been over the last 10, 15 years? Tell you where they've been, having an ad agency telling them not to bother. And now there's this big push towards it. Everyone's involved, even fucking Kenco and people like that. Do you know what I mean?
I know we said, pre-show, just a heads up to everyone listening. It's just myself and Micky today anyway, and we said we'll do a little bit of a ramble. I mean, me and Micky are the OGs, as they say, and it's always good to just do myself and you in the show, mate. But I didn't think we'd be going straight in to talk about Women's World Cup and the sponsorship, but
no, that's
going to be the vibe today and the variance that Micky will provide.
We're just use that as the tagline. That'll get us loads more views, maybe people tuning in for Women's World Cup information. I'll tell you another bugbear of mine in a minute.
Go on.
All right, while we're talking about bugbears, we might as well. We haven't done this together, just me and you, for a while, so we might as well give the audience what they want for a bit, you know what I mean? And this, I think, will resonate with everyone who's listening or everyone who watches on YouTube. How fucking annoying is the club's
website? We're going right in, ain't we? So early doors here.
Listen, I'm serious. I mean, listen, right? I understand that it's not just Millwall. It's across the Championship. It looks as if it's the same company doing all of them. But you click on something to read a story and you get either, do you want to buy Millwall TV? Or do you want to buy a season ticket? Or do you want to buy this ticket? Or do you want to buy that? And you're like, mate, listen, if I went on the website to buy that, it's perfectly easy through one of the tabs to go, you know what? I think I want to buy a ticket. So I'm going to go on the website and I'm going to tick where I want to go to buy a ticket. Or if I want to purchase a match, Millwall TV, then I'll go there and watch Millwall TV. What I don't want to do is click on a fucking story on Twitter or on, or on wherever it's come from. And when I click on there, the first thing I get is a pop-up box asking me if I want to fucking buy a season ticket or if I want to buy a fucking Millwall TV or if I want to buy the new shirt. And also, where the fuck are the away shirts? We start a game in a week's time away. What, we doing the launch on away day?
Well, we'll probably wear blue because we'll wear red, right? So, I mean, it's probably by some time, right? We all know what the kit's going to be. It's the white one, isn't it? Which I actually thought looks quite nice from the leaks, if it's to be believed. So,
you mean the ones we leaked?
The ones we leaked, yes. As you can tell, we're recording on Monday evening. We'll go out Tuesday morning. Micky is in a fantastic mood today. Bless him. He's here anyway in spirit.
I'm all good. Don't listen. I've got loads more, mate. Fucking Millwall TV. Why the fuck show us, 90 seconds of Gary Rowett? Are we not allowed to watch 9 minutes of it now? We've got to pay for it. It's like recast all over again, isn't it? It's just
we share that one. Especially being a season ticket holder like yourself and I are, I do think, even if they give us a discount, fair enough, but I do think that should be free to us as season ticket holders personally. But there you go, that's just my personal opinion. But mate, I wanted to try and steer this into some sort of a form of a topic of a show today. It's the end of pre-season.
We're going to that now, but I just thought, we give them what they wanted.
I'm sure it'll come up again. Is this what people want? Isn't it? If people want to hear this, do they want to hear you rambling on, do they?
Well, listen, we're probably the only podcast that gives the truth, mate. Do you know what I mean? We tell it how it is. We don't glorify. We don't, become their voice box. We are what we are. So is I'll get a text or something soon telling me off. But yeah, hey ho.
I've got a feeling we won't be seeing Mickey Simpson in the press box at Millwall anytime soon. Anyway, let's go on to talking about. Let's talk about pre-season, mate. Come on, all around that pre-season. I knew that I'd tell you that one. Let's recap the results as a whole, just in case anyone's not listened or tuned in or watched any pre-season activity online or caught anything in person. Millwall have played, obviously, a few handful of games in pre-season. I'm only going to talk about the ones that fans were allowed to go to. I know there was a couple behind closed door ones. Obviously, one that probably springs to mind, but I'm sure there was something that happened out on tour as well. Kevin Nisbet, obviously, is the main headline. He obviously scored against Gillingham in his first game of penalty. Omer and Micky also got on the score sheet as we won 2-0 at Priestfield. Kevin Nisbet then scored a hat-trick a few days later at Sutton. Mickey was there. And obviously, we covered that in another show recently. Obviously, amongst the goals. He then scored again in our next pre-season game in a 2-2 draw against Charlton. And that run continues. Thank fuck for that. And then to round it up, on Saturday, we lost 2-1 at home to Fortuna Sittard. So, Mickey, pre-season results, obviously not a lot to be spoke about a lot there, mate, but, pre-season is pre-season for that fact. It's more about, as every club and manager likes to say, getting minutes in the legs. The players have to say, getting minutes in the legs and coming for injury-free. We've only got one injury to talk about. George Honeyman, obviously, not available. I'm quite gutted about that one, but maybe that's for another day or for a little while. But they're the results. Again, only pre-season, mate, but how do you feel about pre-season as a whole ahead of Saturday against Middlesbrough, mate?
I suppose the only real plus side about pre-season is Nisbet, fucking the Scottish lad, looks very, very, very an interesting player. Looks as if he knows where the back of the knees. He looks as if he wants to score goals. All of you on Twitter who ridiculed me when I said that I reckon he's going to score more than 25 goals, He was. Come the end of the season and he scored 2, I'll be sitting there going, I knew he weren't really going to do it. Do you know what I mean? But, yeah, fuck you.
What's the general feel, mate? What's it, without talking about Saturday's game, this about later in the week, but how do you feel about pre-season in general and what's the vibe, what's the mood? Because I think on Saturday you was quite down after the game in the group chat, I have to say. I didn't listen to the space yesterday, but what's your mood? How are you feeling about the season ahead?
As much as pre-seasons every season, what I said on the space as well is that, pre-seasons to me, I understand that they're very much more now a commercial entity. They're not really about us. They're about the clubs making as much money as they can.
Please tell me what money we've made from this pre-season, though, as Millwall. Millwall don't make money from pre-season.
They get the ground open a few more times within a short period of time to make gate money that way. But for instance, like the Premiership doing going to American series and all this sort of shit. It's just, to me, pre-seasons now are just a commercial entity, like I said on the space. And unfortunately, as I said on the group chat before we went into the Charlton game, I just didn't think Rowett was going in there with the right frame of mind. For fans, look, we don't really give a fuck about Charlton. They're just the train spotters over in Woolwich area. Do you know what I mean? In Charlton, we don't really give a fuck about them. They seem to be a lot more excited about us than we are of them. But on that same level, we haven't been beaten by them in 27 years, and a large percentage of our fan base has never lost to Charlton. And for the manager to come out before the game to go, well, it's a friendly, I'm not really bothered. I'm just going to be playing the way I want to play. I'm going to be doing what I want to do, testing some of the, different bits and all that. And then all of a sudden we're 2-0 down. You're like, mate, what the fuck are you doing? If we lose that, fucking hell, it would have been nightmares going into, the opening game, especially if we had lost, like we did lose against Fortuna and then going into Middlesbrough. It would have been a different place. But do I think we've got the right amount of players yet? No. Do I think it's been interesting seeing some of the players run out? SA looks a good player, a good baller, as they say. Ramaka, again, looks a promising player. Nisbet looks good. The new lad from Belgium looks good. And also, some of the old players like I said last night on the space, Hutch, Coops, and Murray Wallace look like 3 fucking oil tankers sitting in the middle of a field. Do you know what I mean? I just think they're getting old now, aren't they? So unfortunately, if we are going to play the back three and we still keep Long in goal, as I tweeted yesterday, we're in for a fucking long season, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Quite literally. We're in for a long season.
But it's amazing how many people didn't really get it either when I posted it. But yeah, I know.
Mate, I mean, look, I think pre-season is what it is. Under Harris before, and Jacket as well, you get to last game of pre-season and they play their strongest 11. This is the 11 we'll go into the season with. Rowett even said it after the game in an interview. He's very coy, I think. And I thought I called it during last week when I done a show after the Charlton game with Joe and Stephen. I think he's very he keeps his cards close to his chest. We've seen different variants in pre-season, different formations at times. And we've seen him try different things, I think. And I think he has faith in the players. The mentality's there that, come this week, this is now switch on time. And I think it's just about managing pre-season and getting through it, I think. And like I said, we're unfortunate to lose George Honeyman. I do think he would have been, a second season, having been bedded in down in South London. I think he would have maybe come from strength to strength, and hopefully he still does when he comes back in September. I think they're muted as. But I am quite confident that we're going to be in and amongst it in our sense of mid-table, top half football. And that's probably our ceiling. We know this, mate. And if we overachieve, we might find ourselves in that position where we did last season, where we've got a snippet or a chance of getting into that kind of position. We banged the drum about Fleming and whether he's going to go all the time. I don't really want to talk about it too much today because there's nothing new to report about, is there? We're kind of in that kind of limbo stage. But I think as a whole, I'm not too concerned about the preseason results. And there's not been much positives, I have to be honest, aside from Kevin Nisbet, for me personally. Billy Mitchell's shown a couple of glimpses, so has Esse. But I think we've got them sort of players where...
And Danny Mann.
Yeah, that's true. And Danny Mann. We're not going to get carried away. We won't get too far ahead of ourselves, but also we won't get too down on ourselves either, the players. I think there is that kind of... That dressing room will carry us the certain way it always does. And it will get us, competing. And we're that kind of club with Barrett where we'll always be in games. We'll always compete. And you just got to try and, as they come to you, take them opportunities. And I think Nisbet will be the key to that if he stays fit. It's the $1 million question. But
yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited, mate. I am excited. I always am.
Yeah, no, so am I. Yeah, no. I think Nisbet is the difference what we've needed. I said on the space last night that I think we'll probably be able to get in the top 6 this year, but I think the only reason we'll be able to get in the top 6 this year is purely because we've now got potentially more people who can score goals for us.
He's a proper striker.
He's a defender. He is, yeah. But he's, I said it on a couple of shows before. The way to describe him is that him and Brad's are pretty much very similar players, I would say, apart from...
Yes and no.
Brad's, as in this example, Brad's in front of the goal, doesn't necessarily know where the net is. Mm-hmm. And shots where he should put away, he doesn't. As in Nisbet, shots that he shouldn't put away, he does. And shots that he should put away, he does. What's he got? 5, 6? He missed a penalty on Saturday, but hey-ho, it is what it is. But yeah, I think he's an interesting player. I think he's potentially going to be a Millwall's type player, what we want. And he's just hungry. He wants to set himself, wants to prove something, doesn't he? He wants, he wants to prove he can make it in the Championship. So yeah, good luck to him. I've got a lot of faith. I think it's going to be an exciting season with him.
I can't remember for the life of me where I saw it or where I read it. It might have been a DM from a Hibs fan, or it might have been something that I saw somewhere that across the channels at some point. But I think he used Hibs as a bit of a stepping stone, where he wanted to then get a move to the Championship, to English football, to try and kind of cement his place somewhere, and try and succeed. I think he would look at us in a similar sort of way, which I have no problem with either, by the way. I think, if he comes in, he's got that real selfishness about him as well, Mickey, which is different to Bradshaw. There was a time, I think, in the Charlton game where he could have squared it to the left back if it was Adam Malachi to have a shot on goal. He takes a shot himself. It will infuriate us at sometimes. I know it will. It will infuriate some fans because you're like, why has he done that? Or why has he been that selfish? He's got that bit of Steve Morrison-ness with him a little bit, in that mentality, I think, a little bit. And I can see it. I really can. And I think they're similar sort of build, but he's very good at holding the ball up. Bradshaw's a Duracell bunny. He won't stop. Bradshaw will be constant, try and harass, try and do bits and bobs. And he's more of a poacher in front of goal, whereas Nisbet is more of the complete package. And that is just purely from pre-season. But that's me watching 2 games of us. But I can see it straight away, mate. He will be the difference if he stays fit. And that is the caveat in my head. And I can't help but feel, not to talk about last season, because it's gone now and it's done. I think if we signed him in January and he stayed fit, I honestly think we would have made the playoffs last season. Fuck knows what we would have done. But I can see this bit, and I really think he's going to suit the Championship as well. I think, and also the defence. I take the point, they've not looked great. I definitely think we need to strengthen at the back line. Hopefully one quality addition. If not, hopefully a loan signing from the Premier League, or someone's out there that will fit the mould that we're looking after. We're looking for a Dan Ballard or a Charlie Cresswell-esque sort of impact there, ain't we? Let's be honest. But I think it will suit us sitting deep and on the counter-attack, Roman Esse, Duncan Watmore, Cian Fleming, Kevin Nisbet. On the counter-attack, we're going to be electric this year. I can really feel it. And I think them sort of games will suit us when we're sitting deep away from home on the counter-attack. Some real energy there. Denore, Billy Mitchell, carrying us up the fields, George Saville. I'm excited about that for the attacking lineup, mate, massively.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And I think that's the way that Rowett sees it. I think Rowett sees with, the back three with some, half decent speed in the middle, people who can actually hold the ball and play the ball forward. And I think that's it. Because when you watch all those coaching videos he does, it's all about speed in the middle of the park. Get the ball, forward it on to someone else to run. And we ripped him apart last season, at the beginning part of last season, where we're going, what you teach on these videos for up-and-coming football players isn't what you're playing, or you haven't got the players to do it. But now I think he has got, the likes of Saville or the Belgian guy who can get the ball in the middle of the park, flick it up onto Esse, who can then run it up and flick it across into, Brad's or hopefully Nisbet, or Nisbet even. Listen, if I can start saying...
I'm just saying Nisbet.
Oh,
I think
sorry.
It's Nisbet sticking, I don't care.
Janet, last night, East block on the space last night. I wrote a long message and he was talking about Nisbet and he went, Janet. And then he wrote, shit, sorry, autocorrect. I meant Nisbet. He said, but I don't know any Janet, so I don't know why autocorrect has said Janet. But we went, okay, from now on then we're just going to call him Janet.
I think we just call him Kevin. I mean, like Home Alone. Where's Kevin?
That's it. On to loads of clips now of Kevin. So yeah.
Yes.
Yes. The only thing what's got me in a minute is why hasn't Cooper signed?
Oh mate, I was going to mention this when you mentioned him earlier. It's a bit of an unknown, isn't it? Massively, mate. It's a massive unknown. I don't know. Apparently, it's just the final details now, mate. But maybe he's waiting to see what other transfer business we do and how we start the season. Maybe he's thinking, let's see how the first 5 games go, or maybe the first 3 or 4 games go, and then he might itch for a move elsewhere if things don't happen. I can't see him itching for a move. He's not that sort of player. I think he's be like Jed Wallace and see his contract out, but maybe he's thinking. But then if you're Millwall, do you want to risk another situation like the Jed Wallace situation, mate? That's the real kind of conundrum. But also, we've spoken about our defence, mate. We've got no defenders. We've got no defenders, haven't we? We need to keep him.
But then again, maybe that's what's stopping him because we've got no other ones there. Because if one of them gets injured, who the fuck are we going to? Are we going to start?
No doubt of Coley. It's no doubt. Yeah, no doubt of Coley. There's.
I hope that Alex Mitchell gets a chance because he looks good, and I think he's an old school Millwall type player who will, the first 5 minutes go through an opposition player to say, I'm here. And I think that will get a crowd on side, G him up. But he's a young lad. I mean, Christ, until he was 15, he weren't playing football. He was rowing, competitively rowing. That's, he's a big lad. He's a big lad for a 21-year-old. I think he's 21, 22. He's a big lad. So he hasn't really been in the world of professional football that long. But I think this year is a make or break. And, we know that Gary isn't necessarily, shall we say, a people person. He leaves that down to Adam Barrett and others. But I do think he should get a chance. I do think that a lot of the youth players who they haven't loaned out should get a chance. But if he loans out Esse, I think he's made a fucking big boo-boo there.
I can't see Esse going out on loan.
Don't you?
Yeah, I mean,
I can't either. But
I mean, yeah, I mean,
but reading what he said, I want to sort of keep him here, but if there's an offer for him and all that, then
did he say that? I don't remember seeing it anywhere. Have I missed something? I don't remember him saying that.
No, he said something in the news that the other day about there's been a lot of offers for players, but he's torn between whether or not putting
You sure I wasn't?
into the main team.
You sure I wasn't about Amaku? Because Amaku is apparently attracted interest.
Yeah, no, it was SA as well. We speaking about all of it.
Yeah, I mean, Amaku's obviously a bright spot I've not really spoke about. He's scored a couple of goals in pre-season as well. I quite like him. His pace is so raw. I think people spoke about him on the show enough times anyway. But yeah, I mean, look, I can see room for positivity. The big elephant in the room is the defence and the goalkeeping position, mate. Are we gonna get rid of George Long and get a goalkeeper in? What do you reckon? What's your gut feeling on that one?
I don't know. I mean, I thought we were in for Travis, and then I think possibly maybe the Fleming deal fell apart, and then they stemmed their interest. I don't know if we're after the Wolves keeper. I don't know if that's just Alan Nixon fulfilling his patron community, or considering that Richard Crowley's come out and said it's the first he's heard, and Southern News Journo said it's he hasn't heard anything. And to be fair, if Richard's come out and said it, then the club's probably told him that it ain't happening. So,
what that might be, though, Mick, I don't know what you think, but it could be that maybe Millwall just put a tentative inquiry in. Because I agree, Alan Nixon is on his Patreon, hides behind the paywall. You pay him, you get access to this, and it's how he makes money from it. And it's obviously a bit fishy. But maybe it's just Millwall have sent a tentative inquiry out instead of actually putting a bid in, or maybe even our local journalists, I don't know, are not aware of the interest because we've just missed out on Mark Travers, which has been well documented. But maybe it is interest there, but at very early stages for all we know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it could be, or the agent could be saying, we would suit Millwall. They're having trouble with keepers at the moment. I mean, as in, we found out that saying something that if you take it out of context, it suddenly goes mental. So, it's pretty much, thanks for that. That's getting us blocked on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right, well, going onwards.
Especially when we couldn't even see you a minute ago because of the vape buzz. If you're a vape company and you listen to this and you can provide vape and things like that, get in touch. We can always look at a sponsorship deal if you want. If we don't have to pay anymore, then that'd be wicked. We're doing all right, though. You know what I mean? We're doing all right. We're doing all right. We've got a couple of sponsors for this year. So, yeah, no, we're doing all right. And if you do want to sponsor the show, you can get in touch. We can always have a chat. So, yeah.
The details are in the show notes.
Bermondsey. Wimpy at Bermondsey. Free Olympic breakfast every Saturday. Here we go. No? Remember that, the old Olympic breakfast. Christ. Reminiscing, eh? We're not going to do what me and Joe did the other week, though. We're not going to go down the same path me and Joe did the other day, talking about porn in fucking woods. So,
no, well done, mate. You just got us age gated, so we're not going to get advertised today on this one either. So, right, mate, come on, let's steer the ship back to pre-season. So, let's discuss pre-season results. Not too bothered about it. Obviously, some bright sparks in there. You've touched on Nisbet, but obviously 4 transfers in so far this pre-season. Kevin Nisbet arrived from Hibernian. Joe Bryan on a free transfer from Fulham. Having been loaned by France last year. We'll touch on that in a second. Wes Harding also the free transfer from Rotherham United. And Casper Denore from OH Leuven in Belgium. So we've touched on this bit. I agree with you. I love this bit. I think he looks the real deal. I hope he stays fit. I keep saying that again. It's like playing bingo with me. But that is the elephant in the room with this bet. Obviously, after his big injury last year. Joe Bryan, good signing, mate. Happy with that. I think he's looks a bit rusty in pre-season. But he's not playing a lot of games. A bit like Murray Wallace. I think Murray Wallace will play his way out of form, about the bad form, and come back to prove a lot of people wrong. Not necessarily saying he's going to pull up trees and look like a world beater, but I think Wallace will be a dependable option this year. I really do. That's my gut feeling about it. And I know it's contrary to the majority opinion, but I trust Murray Wallace. I really do. But Joe Bryan,
welcome to the end of season show.
Oh,
welcome to the end of season show. And Omar's prediction on Murray Wallace, that really turned out really well.
Well, we'll see, won't we, mate? We'll do predictions on Wednesday.
Listen, Joe Bryan, I think is a very experienced, dependable player. We know what you're getting with him. He's played in big games. He knows what he's about. And, you know, if you looked at his interview, what he did, you know, there are a couple of nice young lads who seem to post a lot of Millwall TV stuff on Instagram and TikTok and that, so you can watch the full videos on there if you want.
Why have you said that? They're not going to exist anymore.
Mate, they listen, the club ain't stupid. They know what's there. And I think that, you know, I think with his interview, he just, you know, is what it is. There's no, razzmatazz. There's no, you know, what you see is what you get. There's no glare, no nothing. It is what you see, it is what you get. And that's what I want, you know, that's what I want in a team. That's what I want, you know, that's what I want to play for. And you just think, you know what, that's what we want. He is potentially a Millwall type player who will just go out and do what he needs to do and just
bingo, Millwall type player. Everyone take that off your list on your cards.
I've said it about 4 times tonight, so yeah. But yeah, no, I think he will be a great addition. He's pretty much like Alex Pearce, isn't he? Really, he's going to be that sort of player for the team.
Yeah, I mean, he's an experienced head. It's very interesting. I agree with you. I think he's another one. He's looks a bit ring rusty in pre-season, but I kind of forgive him for that due to not playing much games last season. His injury record, so to speak, isn't too bad. He looks like, you know, he's played a lot of games at Championship level. Obviously scored 2 goals in the playoff final during lockdown for Fulham. It's only going to bode well for his experience and help the rest of the younger players in our squad that, you know, he can help nurture. If he's got Roman Esse playing in front of him in some games, undoubtedly he'll be a good ear in his head. And, you know, that is probably obviously something you really want to have in your side. I love his free kicks. He's good at distribution as well. He's good on like step pieces. We've not really seen too much of it, but I think he'll be a valued asset on the left-hand side as a real outlet for us. Scott Malone obviously done that well for us a few seasons ago, but drifted away and now he's in League Two. So that kind of tells you what you need to know about that one.
He's playing for Millwall's B team.
Millwall's reserves, yeah, exactly. That's down in Pikey lands.
Face Bromley and Gillingham, isn't it?
Exactly.
Whoa.
Okay, well, anyway. But yeah, I think, look, Joe Bryan will be a solid left back for us. And I think he'll be a real dependable head there. And I'm excited to see how that unplays with him and, you know, how it unfolds. It's interesting. You watch his interviews and like he's done some pieces before he signed for us, and like his bio on Twitter is like, it's not all about football. Like he looks at it as a job, an occupation, almost in a sense. He's got a passion for it, but he's not like live and breathe football. You look at Billy Mitchell, for example, you can tell Billy Mitchell lives and breathes football, for example, right? He's young, enthusiastic, wants to make a name for himself. Joe Bryan's like, there's more to life than football, but I respect my job. So, interesting dynamic, I have to admit.
Yeah. But I play football from 3 till 6, and then once I finish on a Saturday, I go home to the kids and I start writing and reading books. You know,
Quite like it. I mean, maybe you could argue maybe he might have got more out of the game if he was a bit more passionate and committed, but I don't know. I mean, end of the day, he's done well for himself, and he's a really good signing.
He's earning good money. We paid no signing on fee for him. I think he's got enhanced wages to compensate for that. So good luck to the fella.
Definitely. Next in was Wes Harding, mate. Not seen a lot of Wes Harding, but he's a real athlete. I think he'll be a good option. I think he'll be a backup option in the defence, right back as well to rival Danny Mack. Be interested to see how that one plays out, mate. But I can't claim to see a lot of him. But he's played a lot of games at this level as well with Rotherham, so interesting one. And he'd be quite eager to prove his name. Obviously at Birmingham as well with Gary Rowett, so he knows Rowett.
Did you just say he's played a lot of games at this level with Rotherham?
Yeah, he played 2 years with Rotherham here, and also in Birmingham City. So
he's not a big club, are they?
Doesn't matter. He knows what the championship's about, and he knows also to be a team that's not got a lot of the ball, and a team that needs to play on the counter attack and also compete. And I think he will compete. He will throw his body on the line. He will commit, and I think you want to play.
Jury's out on him, but yeah,
of course, jury's out on all our signings really, because until you see him in league action, you don't really know what you're going to get. But yeah, I mean, jury's out, but I'm excited to see him get a run of games eventually because inevitably Hutchinson will get injured. So be good to see. And Casper De Norre is the last option from Belgium. I like Casper De Norre. Again, another one that needs a bit of run of games, but I think he'll come good, mate. He's quite, he's got a lot to prove. And I think he's going to be that option that, will be box to box, energy, a bit like the Shackleton role almost, but he loves a tackle though, mate. I'll say that much. I think he'll win time over quite quickly in big games at home.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I mean, there's a lot of young kids all over the TikTok and Instagram. But again, he's the best midfielder in the country and all this, best player in the league and all this sort of stuff. So, they're glorying him up. They've watched a few YouTube videos and, I've seen the one he did with a can. It's amazing that people are just posting the clip of him actually hitting the can, not the fucking 312 attempts he had before he hit the can. So, yeah, if you watch the whole video, it's quite funny because he's getting proper frustrated. But no, I mean, I think he's interesting. There is something around Casper, which I'll raise afterwards, but nothing major about him, but something about him coming into the team with the video side of it. But I'll stand a bit. So, yeah.
Okay, well, you can come back to that in a second after I say I like to see what happens with him. I think he's George Saville, but a bit quicker. And I hope he materialises to be a good player. But tell me a bit about him, mate, that I don't know, and about the announcement video. What's that to be said?
No, I just the thing what gets me every season, right? There's videos, right? They change the way they do the videos or whatever, and I just wonder if it's EFL what basically buys a license for certain, like you can do with a Dolby or create a sound or Epidemic or whatever. You buy a package and in there's loads of add-ons, loads of sound clips or loads of video templates, whatever you want to use. I just wonder if it's something what the EFL would ever do, and they basically give it all out, and it's up to the clubs to use the most cliche or the most terrible announcement video. Because I think our Casper one is right up there with our Casper and Burnley's Teletubbies announcement video. Do you know what I mean? It's like, mate, really? Is that, listen, right, I'm not being funny, but is that the best you can do?
There is some real club bashing going on today. There is some real club bash going on. Media teams getting absolute hounded. First the website, then the Casper announcement. Where else are you going to do with this, mate? Tell me. And Millwall TV as well, got to mention as well. You are bashing the media teams today, mate.
No, I'm just, listen, right? We've seen the Cahill video, right? Which is probably one of the best reveal videos they've ever done. Okay.
Best video, or because of the nature of the signing?
Because of the nature, I think because of the nature of the signing, because of who it was, the way everything around it worked. It just, the return, hashtag the return. If you want to see the video again, it's there. It's on ours. I think it's everywhere. But that video was great. And when you produce a video like that, to then do what, I'm not being funny, I could get a clip of a couple of people mentioning Casper the Friendly Ghost. I think we did do something about Casper the Friendly Ghost because we've got the same database of movie quotes and get stuff. What we can do, it's just, when you're a club and you've got all that money and then you go use something what costs you £3 a month to get. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like,
really? All that money, or do Millwall not have a lot of money really in the first place to stretch onto announcement videos? I take your point, I understand, but I think you got to play on the Casper the Ghost because it's Casper the North. So I get it, but I take your point. I don't disagree with you, but there's only so much you can do. To be honest with you, I find announcement videos cringy.
I do understand. I do understand that you're contractually obliged to. If I cunt the club, you have to. But if you have to blow the club up and go. Actually, I understand the way we're contractually obliged between me and you that we have to do it this way. But
we're chalking. We're chalking. I agreed with you. We're chalk and cheese. But what I'm saying is, what I was getting on to say is, I find it all cringy. The whole stuff of that, the media. I find social media cringy these days. Football Twitter is a absolute beast of shit in there. There is a lot of stuff in there that I don't need to see. And do you know what? If we went to the Premier League, I don't think I'd ever touch Twitter ever again for Millwall, because in there, right, you've got just people jumping on the bandwagon. And you start to see it creep into Millwall now anyway. When people reply, they put weird replies. But each to their own. It's not for me personally. I don't like it, and I never will. I don't like the cringy announcement videos. I don't like the cringy goal gifs. I think we're going to do them this year because it looks like we done a green screen little kind of clip the other day, and they're doing these sort of celebrations, all that sort of bollocks. Not a fan, but then again, there's a market for it. So each to their own. Each to their own.
I don't think Fleming is either. If you look at our video, he was just,
that was interesting.
Sweet. That off we go. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, listen, I understand, because on a very small scale, what we do is obviously it's about exposure. It's about bringing ourselves to new members of the Millwall family, and getting people to possibly listen or watch the show for the first time, subscribe, everything else. I get that. Obviously we don't charge you to subscribe on YouTube or click on the pod to follow the pod, so it comes in your inbox every week, all of that lot. We do it because we want to do it. We don't charge you for it, unlike some. We just do it because it is what it is. Well, we don't do it, we do it because we enjoy doing it. We're not doing it to try and be millionaires, are we? And let's be honest, you're not going to become a millionaire through doing what we're doing. But what I'm saying is that I can understand that if with the club, they must have so many more options than what we do, yet they seem as if they're as desperate for the likes, the retweets, the posts, so many different videos about the same thing and everything else, in the same boat as us. Yeah. Do they really need it? I mean, they've got 150,000 followers on Twitter. We've got 8,500 or whatever it is, 8,000, less than that. But it just seems sometimes that clubs try too hard.
I disagree. I don't think clubs try hard enough. I think we just fit in to conform with what everyone else does. I think we need to be trendsetters. Do something different. Show me a video of Casper Denor having Jenny Dills as his announcement video outside Manzi's. That's a video to do for a video announcement. But we'll catch them all.
There you go.
There you go. Bang. And that's there you go.
Millwall media team, right? On the next transfer window, bring us in. We will make you a fantastic reveal video and put our block on the line, and we will make you a brilliant video. You've got the equipment, we can do it, and then we'll see how well that does for you.
What we will do is we will change it.
You won't invite us.
What we'll do is we'll change it. When they announce a video, we'll take the footage and make it ourselves into something different and see if it's any better than what they can come up with. But mate, give me.
If you want us to do that, if you want us to do it, make sure hashtag, that Millwall podcast reveal. Hashtag that Millwall podcast reveal. And yeah, I think we need to do one. I think it'll be great. We can always find someone to pretend they're a football player. I mean, let's put it this way. Joe looks a bit like the Casper Denor, doesn't he? From a distance.
Does he?
I mean, I can't. I've got a bald head. I'm not saying he does, but, we could use him a bit,
Yeah. We can't use you because, EastEnders will be on to us for the copyright rights. They haven't actually Phil Mitchell and, so I understand.
I was just about to go where we would be in our chat room, and then I just realised that actually it's probably not that PC to say when I was just about to say something I'm saying.
What was that? So, mate, I've got to mention that. Go on
in. I know it's only going to be about, what he was saying about Twitter is becoming this massive, great big noise pit at the moment, and more that hence we've got a little community room if you just want to talk about Millwall stuff without having loads of other football fans throwing strange comments and trail you and everything else, just, come into that one, mate, and yeah, get involved in all that lot. As long as you're Millwall, you can get in it. If you're a Bitcoin or a fucking a blunt supplier, then no, you're not coming in.
Okay, right. Just to round up the show, Mickey, I've got a question for you before I read out some tweets. Rate Mill's preseason with preseason results and performances, and also transfers. All of that. Give me a number out of 10 of how you feel about Mill's preseason. Honest answer.
6.
Okay. Do you want to give a little blurb afterwards, or are you just happy to say 6 out of 10?
I'd say 6. I don't think he's set the world on fire. I think there's been a few games we could have played a lot better in. Charlton, I think we could have sealed them off 3-4-0 really if we'd have come out with intention, like we did against Sun. But I think, as in the whole collective, I'd probably say 6, and probably my player of the pre-season would obviously be either Imaku or Nisbet.
Fair enough. What would have made pre-season better rating for you? Was it more transfers, better results, better performances?
No,
How would it have been?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe a couple of extra players, at the beginning of the transfer window, to get a couple of extra players what we need in so they could gel. But to be fair, I just think a bit more competitive, a bit more, I would have preferred us to come out and maybe win the games 3-4-0 every game. Do you know what I mean? Rather than we were playing nobody teams as well. Really, we were playing nobody teams.
Bromley pre-season.
Bromley, Charlton, Sutton. The only real challenge possibly would have been Fortuna, but even Fortuna, we shouldn't have lost 2-1.
If we scored a penalty second half, we'd have been 2-1 up. Might have been a different result, mate. But anyway, I'm going to read out some tweets. So we put this same question out there on Twitter. If you're not following us already, what are you doing? Make sure you do. We're at That Mill Pod across all socials. You'll find us, That Mill Podcast. Check out our website as well. Whilst I'm here, plugging that. So we put the question out there, taking into account, preseason doesn't matter too much, but including transfers and also the game so far, how would you rate everything as a whole out of 10? Frankie says 7. Harry Sims says 7. Not optimistic for the new season at all, if I'm honest. If he's not optimistic, I would have said probably lower than 7. But that's just my opinion. Johnny P says 0 and will remain 0 unless we get a new keeper. I still can't believe Rout hasn't made it his number one priority. Sam McFarlane says 7. Sign at least one centre back and the goalkeeper, then it'll be a 10. I love the ambition and the hope and optimism. Smithy MFC says pre-season is just a run out, although I don't like the look of our tactics. Our passing is atrocious and I'm afraid we're going to play a 5-2-3 over a 5-3-2. If 5 at the back goes ahead. Transfers have been meh. Nisbet looks like a good solid addition, but I can see we need 2 or 3 in. 6 out of 10. I can't pronounce his name, but he's at a happy Ronnie. Unless Long's head is on a pike at the front of the den, then it's a massive fucking 0. Interesting. And Matthew has gone 5, and Daniel Hill's gone 8 for me, and then hopefully we'll get a new goalie, whereby it'll be a 9. And Tony Martin's coming with 6. Need a goalkeeper and a quick centre back plus left-sided midfielder. I'm going to say 6 as well, Mickey. I agree with you. I feel like mine's glass half full though. I'm normally optimistic. I maybe say yours is glass half empty. Not to shit on your parade there, mate. But I feel like I don't know. I feel we're both 6s, but mine's edging towards almost 7. Yours is slap bang in the middle 6. Just say. I think if we get
maybe it's 6.5, but yeah.
If we get a goalkeeper, if we get a goalkeeper in, and we get a centre half in, and they're up to standard we're looking for, I can honestly be really optimistic for the season that we'll be in and amongst it, and that's the ambition. But we'll talk more about predictions and hopes in the next show.
Yeah, there was an interesting tweet. There was an interesting thing on a message on the space the other night where someone turned around and said, is Long really shit, or is it the fact that the defence is shit? Because it's defence in the midfield we should be stopping those balls getting shot in. And, maybe it's a bit of both. Maybe Long isn't as shit as what we keep giving him shit for. Maybe it is the fact that his confidence low. And if you watch Ben Foster and he has other keepers on, he does say that, if your confidence is low, it does affect your game. So, hey-ho. I'm in no way going to say that, on the first game of the season, we should all wear "We love you long" t-shirts, because that's not what we're going to do. But yeah,
I think with
that could be quite funny though, couldn't it?
it would be funny, but I could never see it happening. With Long, I don't back him to play well under the pressure and the scrutiny, because the Dens turned against him, and that's only in pre-season you can see that. And God knows what it's going to be like at Bristol City at home. If he makes a mistake, or if it's a nervy 0-0 and he's about to make a mistake, or he gets the ball, I don't back him to rise to the occasion. Good Mill goalkeepers, David Ford's, they're the kind of goalkeepers that rise to the occasion. Tony Warner, for example, you could take the list back, Brian Key. They rise to the stick. They will make it, basically shuts them and people up. And I think Long's the kind of person that goes in his shell. That's why I back Murray Wallace to play his way out of it, because I think Murray Wallace can still perform under the pressure. But there we have it. We've hit our time goal in mind for the podcast. That's the end of this show, Mickey. Thank you for persevering and doing a show with me tonight, mate.
No, you're all right, mate. It's nice to do it with me and you. We don't get to do more. It's now becoming a beast, our show, and we don't always get to do it with work commitments and everything else. So, it's nice to do just me and you, and actually I can go off key and you can go off key, and we just suddenly worry about what we've said and were we too harsh, and then go, fuck it, we don't edit, so it's going out, and hey, it is what it is.
We'll never proclaim to be that highly edited show. We're a fly on the wall, sitting in a pub conversation amongst mates, and that's always what we want to try and aim this to be. I mean, Mickey says this is what the fans want, what people want. Is this what people really want? I'm asking you guys out there. If this is what you like, be sure to let us know. Or maybe you want less club bashing, and I'll have a word with Mickey about it next time. Go on, Mickey.
And listen, we love the club. Just one thing, we love the club. The club's great, mate. Do you know what I mean? We don't always agree with them. It's like, it's like your little brother or something. You don't always agree with them, but you'd fight tooth and nail for them, as I've proven over the years, mate. Do you know what I mean? When shit gets going, I'm always the first one in the line to fucking stand if someone else is coming against them. So, mate, it is what it is. But I've been on holiday, you have, and I've been on holiday with a family. I've been driving down to Cornwall now. And we were listening to a lot of the Radio 2. The old confessions, Simon Mayo confession shows. And at the end of every show, he sits there and says, if you've listened to the end of the podcast, then we want you to tweet this word, the hashtag, this word, this sentence, this word, this whatever, just to prove that you've been listening to the end, and those who haven't listened to it were wondering what the fuck you're doing. So, correct. I reckon we should, just for the crack of it, if you've listened to right now, I want you to hashtag I still have faith in Long.
In the comment section on YouTube, or tweet us at Twitter as well. I thought you were going to say hashtag I used to be ex-fan on the board, but I mean, that's just me, but there you go.
That'd be another show. We do that on another show. Well, hashtag I was fan on the board. But this time I have faith in Long, because if Long sees it, we could build his confidence. But if he doesn't listen to the pot, then he won't know that actually it's a piss take, and it will be reverse psychology. See? Yeah. Anyway, we're done now, mate.
We're done.
Follow our socials, get going. Make sure you hashtag that word out, or that little thing out, just so we know that you are watching to the end. Otherwise, we just stop this after 20 minutes and we're just talk bollocks.
Well, that's the end of the show.
That's it.
Well, this goes out to you. Oh, God.
Let's change our logo.
We do need to change our
logo out there, look.
Yeah, we'll make sure to do that for the next show. This goes out Tuesday morning. There'll be another one out Wednesday, talking about predictions for the season. Some quirky questions will be in there as always. And we'll hold ourselves accountable this time and make sure we get the right predictions in. So, cheers, guys. Cheers, Mickey. See you guys soon.